Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's good. Uh, what a beautiful day to get started. Um, so, today's video, I wanted to talk about sort of the journey of life, really. But particularly when it comes to business, career, finance, that sort of thing. Um, but it also applies even to marriage. And I think marriage is a great analogy to use because it sort of perfectly aligns in terms of the concepts, right? And so this journey is from start to beginning, middle, and end, right? For a lot of people, there's a lot of content out there about how to get started. And the content is very motivational in nature because at early stage, it's about believing in yourself. It's almost like you need permission to start. You need to be validated that what you're doing is the right thing to get started, right? So you need a lot of motivation. It's about belief. It's about permission, right? And for a lot of people, they get stuck in that phase because they never actually get started. They're just repeating this cycle of believing in something. This is the thing, and they're waiting to feel ready. They're waiting to feel confident. They're waiting to feel like they have the permission to say, go for it, go for it. And, they stay in that space. So that's why a lot of content caters to that crowd because a lot of us, we do get stuck. You may have started on one thing, but in another area of your life, you're kind of stalling and waiting for that belief then to kick in, right? So, for example, some people will have a really good career and they got it started there, they are in it, and they're having successes there. But in their personal life, they're very scared to take that leap of faith and, date that person, ask them out, actually get married and serious and committed, right? The next stage that gets you going, right? Because belief, permission, they just get you in the door. But what actually gets you moving? Gets you to start taking consistent action towards your goal and to stick the course through is commitment. You need commitment, right? So once you start your business, once you start your career, whatever it is that you're doing, if you do not commit to showing up every day, it's going to be difficult for you to actually start making progress. And commitment has a lot of elements to it. There's this base level commitment. So, for example, if you want to be a fit person, right, and have a fit lifestyle, you're going to have to commit to showing up to whatever activity that you want to do or to doing some activity. It could be running, it could be lifting weights, it could be um, calisthenics, body movement, it could be dancing, it could be some sort of sport. You got to commit to showing up to that base level activity every day. Doesn't mean every day you're going to kill it and crush it. It means every day you show up. So there's a baseline. I show up every day, right? If every day is defined as 3 times a week, then that's 3 times a week, right? But in your career and your business, it's going to mean every day, right? You got to show up. You got to show up. That's level one commitment. I got to show up. Number two, I got to commit to consistency, right? This is where discipline comes in. So people who are committed to their careers or committed to their businesses and are showing up, now the conversation is about discipline. Some days are you showing up and spending a lot of time just doing busy work, right? Are you spending a lot of time talking to clients and talking to people in conversations that are not productive? You're socializing basically, right? You're not taking actions that actually move your business forward consistently. Some days are just so unproductive. You're watching videos online and things like that, and that's eating up a lot of your time. You've got to now commit to um, changing who you are, commit to who you want to become. All right. What does that mean? What I'm talking about is you're going to start identifying certain behaviors. So, for example, in yourself, you may see that every time you enter a stressful situation, your behavior is to go for a smoke. Every time you enter a tough conversation with a client, a tough conversation with an employee, right? Um, a stressful situation, you have these vices that you get out to do, and they distract you from what you're doing. You may start watching videos on your phone, social media, doom scrolling, and you got to be committed to changing that behavior, to changing those triggers and your responses to them. That's a part of becoming a different person, right? Because changing those triggers is about addressing your nervous system, your ability and your capacity to handle tough conversations, to handle tension, to handle conflict, right? Um, is something that you're going to have to develop. Why? Because if you don't, your business won't grow. There'll always be this black hole of distractions, avoidance, right? Uh, that takes away from the growth of your business. So commitment is huge and it grows over time. So in the initial commitment, just show up. If you're showing up, that's good. Now, when you show up, how are you showing up, right? Then the next level of commitment is consistent output. Now your business needs to become a system, or your activities need to become a system that is consistent and it produces every day, no matter the mood, no matter how you feel, no matter how tough a day it's been, no matter how great a day it's been. Tomorrow you show up, right? If it's not you specifically, your business shows up, your systems show up, right? The output is there, it's consistent. And that's kind of the commitments that you'll sort of travel through. And after commitment comes obsession, right? Obsession is where you really crystallize that sort of consistent output, consistent massive action that actually matters, right? Sometimes you're taking action but you're wasting. We've addressed that already. Obsession, you gotta get obsessed at some point. If you really want to scale your business, right, then you gotta get obsessed. Now you're competing with others. Now it matters how you show up, how often you show up, how involved you are. You're looking out there and seeing you're a lion in the field of lions, and you gotta be desperate to survive. You gotta be, otherwise they're gonna eat you alive. So you gotta be obsessed. You get to a place where you believe in yourself, you are committed, and now you're obsessed. That obsession is what is the scaling part of your business. So belief was the entry, commitment was sort of building the baseline, obsession is the scaling point, right? For your business to really, really grow and get to achieve the goals that you're seeking, you know? And obsession is about making sure that you're doing way more than you need to, right? You're doing way more than is enough, right? You're just so involved, you're in it. There's no mistaking obsession, right? And after obsession is letting go, because now you've scaled something. Typically, when somebody has gone through that belief, commitment, obsession phase, they either sell their business or they have enough people hired to take care of positions that they are now becoming a steward. They now have a legacy, right? That's where now you're letting go and then stewarding and guiding others to sort of manage everything, and that's usually the exit point. Either you're selling your business or it's a business that can run without you. You've actually built a business that survives without you, but your role in the business is to be a steward, is to be a guide. What you're now shaping is the vision, the structure, the culture, the intangibles of the business that influence the activity. Because other people are making decisions, you are influencing the environment, the options available, the thinking, right? How people think. So that then affects the output. What kind of decisions do your people make? What kind of activities are they doing, right? And what kind of outcomes are they generating? Without you micromanaging, your role is now to work on the environment, right? What are the stories that this business, the narratives that surround this business? How do we reinforce those narratives, right? What is our collective story? How do we reinforce that story, all right? Because the story will then influence the activity and the patterns that are in the business. So that's sort of the trajectory, right, for a person. And unfortunately for people, sometimes you are at the belief stage, but you're listening to advice from people who are at the legacy stage. That doesn't apply to you, right? You haven't even gotten committed to one thing yet, right? You're not even obsessed with it yet. And yet you're now thinking about legacy conversations, how to, sort of move your organization, inspire people, motivate people. You're at the belief stage. You gotta inspire and motivate yourself, right? So being aware of where you are in your journey, if you look at where you are and see you have been committed, you've been showing up every day for the last few years, but what's missing is that obsession to really get things going, because your showing up is undulating, right? It's not consistent. It's not a massive action plan. You're not taking massive action. You're not showing up every day with fire. You have a tough day. The next day is a little bit slow. No, you got to be obsessed to really push through. Tough day, great day. You're just showing up and pushing, 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 pushing through. Um, you know, and understanding those things. So understanding where you are and where you need to go so you can make the necessary adjustments. Commitment was huge for me. When I finally understood commitment, I was already committed, right? But I hadn't made the mental switch, and making the mental switch helped me to start to understand obsession. And getting into obsession is sort of where I'm transitioning into now. It's like, let's really scale this thing out. Let's take massive action. Um, and um, it's in the beginning I didn't understand where I was, so it was very difficult to orient myself in terms of what do I need to do, right? And a lot of times it's not so much what you need to do outside, it's about finding that alignment of, do I need to commit, do I need to obsess, right? um, if for people who are single or married, you know, for single people, it's really about just choosing somebody, you know, and committing. Once you've committed to one person, then that's it. This is the person that you're with, right? And at a base level, you're committing to showing up to this marriage on a good day, on a bad day. That's it. They call them grave buddies. You're just looking for, you don't want to die alone. You're just looking for somebody who'll be there to wipe your body, wipe you behind when you're down, um, and somebody you can be there for if they're down. Um, that's sort of the baseline, right? Um, and then you can add all of these other layers to your marriage as you go along, right? If you lose that obsession with the person, you will lose a big part of the marriage, right? It can become something that you don't even want to be a part of, right? Um, uh, anyways, that's I hope that's helpful, because in your journey, if you are at a stage of belief, understand that that's okay and that's perfect. The next stage is commitment. So start looking for things that you can commit to doing for the rest of your life. Do away with timelines. A lot of times when you're in the belief stage, you want something that will give you results in 6 months. You want something that will give you results by the end of the year. By December, I'll be this. And commitment is, at some point you're going to be 50 years old, at some point you're going to be 60 years old, at some point you're going to be 80 years old. Can you commit to doing this? And this is just your life. It's the same as breathing. Doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to be doing that thing, right? If you can commit to that level and just show up every day, then you're not playing this game of guesswork. Because guess what? You can make money with any and everything. There are people today who are making money with manure, waste, human waste, animal waste. There are people today making millions with worms, selling worms from fishermen to farms who need to get their soil ready, all sorts of things, right? There are people making money selling sand. You can make money with anything, but the price is commitment. You got to commit to that thing, right? There are people making money today with Bitcoin. I never committed to Bitcoin, so I haven't made astronomical money. I mean, I've ridden the wave of the highs of Bitcoin, but I haven't made life changing money on Bitcoin. So commitment is necessary, and Commitment is what gets you going, is what gets the car moving, right? Obsession just boosts. It's like commitment is the fuel, obsession is the boost. It's a nitro boost. Is it nitro boost? I haven't played Need for Speed in years. I haven't played video games in a long time. The last time I played a video game, I physically played a video game, I think, was 2000 and many years ago, well over 10 years ago. Um, and I was at varsity, not well over 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago. I was at university and I I went to play Vice City, GTA, and I came back from school. Um, I think I was in first year varsity. I came back from classes around 4:30. I was gonna go to dinner around 6:37, and I said I'll just play, finish this mission. I went to play the game, and the next time I got up from my seat to go, I looked. It was 5 a.m. I'd been there for more than 12 hours, and I thought I was just gonna go grab dinner at 6:30 p.m. the previous day. And I remember that was the last time I played. I said, I cannot do this. I cannot lose 12 hours of my life to something that just takes me like that. No. Literally, that was the last time I played. And that specific day I was playing by myself. So it's easy to get committed and obsessed about video games and other things with your career and your certain things. You have to generate some of that commitment. You have to generate some of that belief, right, within yourself. Um, it's kind of like in a marriage, sometimes you have to generate that feeling of love because that person is angering you, they are annoying you, you know, um, they're behaving a certain way, and you have to generate those. You're not just waiting for this magical time or magical person or magical act to feel in love, to feel happy, right? As you ride the waves, undulating waves of day to day life, um, sometimes you just gotta moderate your own feelings, generate your own feelings. Um, Once you make some major adjustments, you'll understand. Just like with the business, you gotta show up no matter what. Once you understand this is my life, and this is the stage I'm at, and I'm going where I'm going, um, then you're not too stressed about each day, each moment. Hey, this is what we're doing, and we're getting better as long as we're getting better. Same thing in marriage. Once you understand the whole point of marriage is to work unconditional love through us, to it, through marriage, right? It becomes easier, right? Because you understand, okay, there are gonna be conditions where I don't want to love this person, but I'm here to learn unconditional love, so I'm gonna love them through it. And once you switch that on, it's very hard to switch off because you want to be loved no matter, even with your quirks and even on your worst day. So your partner should be afforded the same, and you are the only person who can give your partner that, you know, in that way, to show up even on their worst day and still love them. Doesn't mean you'll enjoy it, doesn't mean it's fun, doesn't mean you won't struggle with it, but once you make those shifts, it becomes a lot easier. You become much more regulated, right? So I hope that's helpful, guys, and you enjoy that. I will see you guys on Friday.